Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. Let's get started in this casual match. Are we gonna play against the same guy again? No. Oh, it's Defenestration. I played against him years ago. Alright, he's probably much better than I am now. He was at the time pretty good. Alright, so this looks like a pretty... I think you could go like Vivid Drones into big Centurion maybe? I don't know, maybe someone could punish that with Tesla coils? Wait, why am I not getting Vivid Drones? Consumes 2 drones. So why is this not good? I don't know Vivid Drone openings anymore. They're a different unit than they used to be. I think this is good if we're going like high economy into Centurion. The problem is I think if I try this, my opponent can punish me with like Tarsiers and Feral Wardens before I can get to Centurion. Well, I guess I'll find out. That's an interesting opening. I guess it's basically just the not Vivid Drone opening, right? Next turn I can build 4 ordinary drones. Okay. Good news, he's mirroring me, and I think that by going with the earlier Vivids I have somewhat of an advantage. The 4th Engineer. I was worried about him not going high econ. If he's building the 3rd Engineer, but not building 3 drones, I don't get it. He seems to think there's something wrong with Vivids in this set. I wonder what it is. I'm hopeful that Centurion is enough to justify this ridiculous investment in drones. We'll see. I think it's not, but he might be letting me get away with it. Well, that might be a bit much. Maybe we don't need, actually, that's probably fine, right? 18 drones is sort of what I have now. Get the Conduit, next turn a Blast Forge for defense. And then we can build like an Animus or something. Get the Centurion up. Okay, so he wants to go Feral Wardens, I guess. But I don't understand what all the drones are about then. Feral Warden is not a high econ play. So what do I do? More drones? Is 18 enough? I could be building Vivids, actually. I should have built Vivids earlier. Some of these drones should not be ordinary drones. Okay. Well, I can build an Animus. I could get my Centurion now if I wanted, but that seems a bit much. Maybe just build like more Vivids. Next turn I can build a wall and some Tarsiers and another Blast Forge. Is that right? Wall, Tarsiers, Blast Forge. Yeah, I can do all that and build another Vivid. I'm really pleased he's not going for one of the big rush units like Tesla or just Tarsiers. Like letting it... How are we on drones? He has 19, okay. And I have 20. So we're about in the same neighborhood on drones. The difference is that mine, I built Vivids and he didn't. And I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Why not build Vivids? The main reason is if you want your drones available for force fields, or if you worry you're going to need them to defend too much. Then having turned them into Vivids would be a disadvantage. Which is why I'm so puzzled to see him now switching to Vivids. If you're building some ever, you should have built them earlier, right? Oh, and good news, he's not even making me build a wall. Because he's building Tarsiers instead of some faster attacker. It might be a bit too early to get the Centurion, actually. He's not really threatening any attack yet. And the high absorb and its prompt value is sort of wasted. Whoa! Another Animus. That's an interesting play. What is he going to do with that? I guess that's for the Feral Wardens? Yeah, so next turn he's going to build, like, 3 Feral Wardens or something? No, okay. Just drone up some more? Now a 4th Engineer. Very odd. So we're getting Tarsiers for sure. We're getting another Blast Forge for sure, which if, you know, this means, oops, I said another Blast Forge. I can get Steel Splitter now, or I can like, this way I can either get the Centurion if he pressures a lot, or a Doom Drone if he doesn't. And I think, honestly, like, I'd like to build an attacker, and I can do that while building more drones, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, he of course has to build a wall since I'm threatening some actual attack next turn. Well, he could choose to let me attack his engineer, I guess. He's going to do that. I want to keep an eye on the drone count. That's the thing, I've made this mistake in the past of like letting my opponent get way ahead of me on drones without noticing. After like in the early game we both stop at about the same number, but my opponent over the course of the long game sneaks in a few more drones here and there. So I want to try not to let that happen. Interesting. Is he going to let me kill an engineer if I want? I don't exactly want to, honestly. I hope he builds a wall to defend so I don't have to attack him. Because I don't want to build a wall because I want to be able to get a doomed mech. Which means I kind of would like to have my Steel Splitter defend instead of attack. Yeah, but he is offering me that. He recognizes, I think, that I don't want to build a wall. And is saying, hey, go ahead and attack me if you want. And I think I will hold it back. I don't know if he's calling my bluff on purpose or not, but... but I guess it's working. So is he going to build his Centurion now? It's getting Absorb. He is, okay. This seems like the right turn for him to have built it. And now is the turn for me to build mine. Oh, these attacks don't do anything, huh? Oh, I can't build any more Tarsiers because the Centurion's coming. Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay. I guess I don't have any more money to worry about how to spend. Fine. But I can Vivid, right? Nice. Well, these attacks don't do anything, I get, but I'm also not defending with them, right? So, just hold them. Am I going to want engineers next turn? He's going to make me lose 2 of these. I'll probably be able to wall somewhat. I think this Vivid is too much. I think I just need an engineer more than I need a Vivid. I'm at 24 drones, he's at 22. Our attack values are similar. I look like I'm ahead in the long game. I want to make sure I don't get brutally exploited by sacrificing all my drones and my flexible defenders in engineers. I want to have the drones available to force field. I want to have the engineer available to make sure I can get granular defense. Maybe he was right to build the Centurion before... Well, I guess he was, because he got Absorb on it the turn he built it. If I'd built mine a turn earlier, it wouldn't have done anything. I feel like I feel bad about having a gap in my Doomed Mech coverage, but I don't know. I'm gonna have mine available to block. Mine will be dying off, which means that I'll want to block with it before his is. So maybe it's all right. I don't know. The question is, what am I going to do with my green that I'm accumulating here, in general, like over the course of the game? Because I'm kind of building a wall and tarsiers. And, like, I guess... I'd love to build another doomed mech, but when am I going to ever squeeze that in, right? I could build a Tesla, but I need these engineers. I could cut the tarsiers and build feral wardens instead to attack faster. But they're not very efficient if you're not using them to defend. They're basically just like kind of awkward Gauss cannons with less health. I could build a rectifier? Yeah. But if I do that, I'm floating my blue, and I might as well just build like 2 walls this turn so that maybe next turn I don't have to build one and I can build a doomed mech instead. And this way, like, I spend all my money on building 3 attack and some extra defense for next turn. That seems okay. But I'm gonna need more engineers, right? He's about to kill all of mine. I think it's probably better to just, like, do this. I can't afford a Gauss cannon because I need these engineers to give me flexible defense next turn. So this coming turn, my dream would be to build 2 tarsiers and a doomed drone. A doomed mech. Ooh, yeah, here come the Teslas. That's going to be interesting. Looks like he's going to try to apply enough pressure that I won't be able... I don't know if he's doing it specifically to stop me from building doomed mech, but it certainly looks like that's what's going to happen. Is that, he's attacking me enough that I can't conveniently, I was hoping to hold these walls back, right? But he's now threatening 3 more attack than he otherwise would have. So I need the 2 walls. So my goal now is to make him run out of engineers. He has to keep paying engineers to keep these Tesla coils running. This Tesla coil, and I predict he'll make some more. So the question is, what kind of attackers do I want for that? The rectifier is interesting, but if I'm going to build it, I'm floating red, and at that point, Feral Warden is even more efficient. It only costs 5 in the green instead of 5.5 in the green. If you assume that red is free, I could do like that, right? But it's not so great. I could build 2 tarsiers, but I want to apply... Well, I want to apply pressure, but it doesn't all have to be pressure right now. I could go easy a bit. So he's attacking... He's going to leave me with 1 engineer if he attacks with everything. Yeah, he's even building the perforator. He wants to apply a lot of pressure. I don't know if he can apply enough, though. I'm actually going to build a drone here. If I don't... I may not need to use it to defend, in which case it'll be better than an engineer. And I have plenty of green. Green is sort of free for me right now, which means force fields are available. And when green is worth about as much as a gold, building a drone with the plan to force field is about as good as an engineer in the worst case, and better in the best case. So I'm hoping that by squeezing in these 2 tarsiers before I switch to more urgent units, that I can apply enough pressure to make it hard for him to fire off his Tesla coils. But we'll see. What is he thinking of doing with his red, if not attacking with the perforator? Maybe he's just thinking about whether he needs to block with the perforator? More green, interesting. Why? For force fields? It's usually better to just build the engineer than it is to build a conduit for force fields specifically. Are we... He's not low on walls yet. No. You know what? Let's just build 2 more drones. Oh, no, right. I want to attack with the doomed mech, which means I need more defense than this. So I need, like, 1... Is he really able to attack with everything here? If he wants to, he can, so I do need to prepare for that possibility. Alright, well, green isn't free anymore. I just spent all of it. Yeah, so maybe this is where the Vivid Drones start to be a problem, is that I've run out of... Well, I ran out of green anyway, so... Running out of drones is not my current issue. But next turn I get a break because my doomed mech can comfortably defend. Obviously you can defend with a doomed mech anytime, but you'd rather get attack out of it as long as you can. And then just on the turn when it's going to die anyway is when you block with it. And that turn is coming up, so I have a bit of excess defense available. He's having trouble defending, it looks like. Shouldn't he force field? If he thinks I'm going to lose an attacker, he's wrong. If he clearly has to change his plan, because if he just does this, he's getting breached. Yeah, he's gone back and changed how he blocks or something for some reason? Ah, building the engineer. Okay, the force field, I mean. Yes, he had to do that. I don't want to build the drone, because I'm going to need to start defending with it pretty soon, and I also would like to be able to use my green on Feral Wardens. But I think Perforators are right about now as like a pretty efficient defender, and also threatening to attack if necessary. Okay, so he can attack with everything if he needs to. So I can't under-defend here. Yeah, this sounds good. These high econ games are a lot slower and longer than the more aggressive games, and they get really complicated. I have trouble figuring out what to do. I wonder if I should have built a Tesla coil at some point. I don't know. I think the inefficiency of it is going to get to him. But on the other hand, I had to do a bunch of force fielding to keep up with it, so maybe he's right. Now here, he has to lose one attacker this turn, if I attack with everything. Whether I can do that remains to be seen. Even if I attack for all but a little bit, even if I attack like this, he can, yeah, I should have paid more attention to my walls. So I can't attack with my Perforator, but he still has to lose one of these two. Which means, I guess, that I don't need another defender here. I could build something slow. Like this. It says he's going to be able to breach me, but he's not, right? He has to lose either a Rhino or a Perforator. And he won't attack with the Doomed Mech either, probably. So this should actually be pretty comfortable. The problem is just that I'm completely out of walls. So what do I do about that? Oh, I guess I'm out of time, huh? Well, alright. Yeah, the wall supply is going to be a real pain. I can start defending with my Feral Wardens, I guess, and sort of try to degrade gracefully. Losing the prompt defense of walls is a big deal for me, though. And he still has them for emergencies. Whereas, like, what am I doing with... I needed to be building Steel Splitters earlier if I'm going to be doing this, right? Hang on, do I need... How much of this can he actually attack for? Most of it, right? Jeez, don't click at me. I have no idea what to do, you dang clock. Ah! Can he attack for everything? No, he has to hold back at least one perf. He just doesn't have enough red for it. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. Obviously, he can't breach this turn, but I don't know if it's like... I don't know what my game plan's supposed to be now that I'm out of walls, is my problem. His big supply of drones is going to give him a lot of force fields to fall back on. And he's been stockpiling perforators for this occasion. While I built these Feral Wardens, which are less efficient. As defenders, or as attackers, really. Well, they're okay as defenders, but compared to perforators. Yeah. Like, what am I supposed to do here? Yeah, his attack is way higher than mine. Well, he can't attack for all of this. Yeah, he actually can. It's not counting the perforators he's losing. If I could just shut off this Tesla coil, I feel like I would get a break. But I'm having to, like, not attack with 3 Steel Splitters. Like, that feels terrible. The amount of attack I'm actually applying is a lot less than what he's actually doing, even though my threat is higher. I relied too much on walls early, and now they're all gone. I wonder, is it possible I could somehow get, like, Tesla coils to actually apply a little more pressure? Like, probably not, right? This seems hard to believe. Like, is this a credible threat? Not really. I'm having to lose 3 attack here. Gaining 3 more does not really help my cause. Build a perforator? Like, ugh. Yeah, I think he's got me here, but I'm not confident enough in my assessment. I could have attacked for more, actually, maybe. Yeah, I could have applied 1 more attack here. I keep forgetting he can't attack with all these perforators. I should pay more attention than to just what this number is. But maybe the Tesla coil can threaten enough. Yeah, he has to hold back Steel Splitters now. That makes me feel a little better. not great, but... Because I'm actually, like, losing mine now. And, like, what exactly am I supposed to do for my defense? Like, that's it. That is the defense I can build. I guess it's enough. His perforators are not all firing. But, like, I'm not attacking with anything, you know? More Teslas. He just transitioned much more gracefully out of walls into everything else. Right, he has this long line of perforators, long line of steel splitters. He built non-prompt efficient defenders before he ran out of walls. I've said this like 90 times so far, but it's still like my most careful evaluation of the game. Yeah, so is this defending for him? I can't tell. Maybe he can tell. 5, do I have to lose 5 attackers here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have to lose 4 attackers, right? I can only keep 1 or 2 of these 6. Yeah. All right, well, you got me. Ugh. This one makes me sad because I feel like, well, I don't know. I was gonna say, it seemed like I was doing Vivids better than he was because he didn't do them and then he suddenly did them, which is worse than doing a couple of them and then switching away. So I feel like, if nothing else, he made a mistake by buying 1 Vivid Drone late instead of 1 Vivid Drone early when it might have done a little bit more good. But maybe my mistake was building just too many Vivid Drones, period. Well, that was one mistake. I think the other was just not recognizing that the walls were going to go away. I defended too much on them. Depended too much on them. I'm also surprised that his Tesla coil worked out. I don't know, it seemed like so Tesla coil is not, is it efficient? You pay 1 health to gain 3 attack, which is, you know, on the face of it, is great, right? It's a net of 3 health for your side, 2 health for your side. But of course you're paying 11 and 2 green and a blue for that privilege. Maybe subtract 4 from that because it builds 2 engineers when you build it. So it's sort of like 7 and a green and a blue for something that attacks for 2. Is that good? It seems good to me. So why is it that I think of Tesla coils as inefficient units when that simple analysis there seems to claim that they're efficient units? I'm not sure. Yeah, I feel like... When did I start running out of walls? Like, around here. My doomed mech turn. And also these feral wardens I was getting. I was getting them instead of perforators because I was thinking I wanted to keep spending my red and so I wouldn't be attacking with perforators. Which is true. But I guess that where I went wrong was in thinking that what I needed was attackers. Right? At this stage in the game, he's ahead on attack, but not by much. And he's spending Tesla coils to keep it up, or spending engineers. And I'm ahead on economy, but not by much. So we're pretty close in terms of damage being dealt. Actually, let's back up to here when I bought my first Feral Wardens. Right, and see how things stand. He's threatening 18, and I'm threatening 12? But I guess I have 2 more Tarsiers and he only has 1 more Tarsier. But, like, okay, he's not really attacking with his Perforator, so he's threatening 17, 18. I'm threatening, like, 13 or 14. It does seem like he's quite a bit ahead here. But you give me 1 more for the end of... I don't know. This seems like kind of a turning point for me when I bought Feral Wardens, thinking, like, hey, these are attackers who can then start defending later. Which is true, but okay. So I guess if I really am in a position to build attackers, if I were tied in this position, I think Feral Wardens would be an okay choice. They would be, because I don't need them urgently as defenders. I can attack with them for a while and then defend with them. They're a lot like Steel Splitters, except they cost 5 green red instead of 6 blue. Very similar cost. And so in that way, like, I kind of didn't totally miss the boat on transitioning defense plans. Although I guess these force fields really suck. Like, it doesn't suck to build them, it just sucks that I have to build them in order to keep everything going. So I think that if I had not been behind, the Feral Wardens would have been okay. And they weren't okay, which tells me that in fact I was behind here, and you can sort of tell by looking at how much we're each attacking for. And I just had not recognized it yet. Given that I was behind, what could I have done differently to catch up? I'm not sure. Building more perforators sooner would have helped a lot. But I think the thing about Prismata is, you know, people who come to this from a game like Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone or maybe even StarCraft, maybe not StarCraft, Dominion, let's say. They come and, like, they often say, it really sucks that this game doesn't have comeback mechanisms. What's the fun in, like getting to a point where you have certainly lost, and then, you know, it just gets worse and worse for you instead of having a chance for things to get better. And I agree with the Prismata philosophy on this, which is like, that's great. That's a spectacular feature that they put in on purpose, and I really appreciate it. There's nothing worse than being, like, playing a competitive game and you're way behind. You think your chances to win are like 5%. You're so far behind. But there's one card in your 25 card deck that if you drew it, maybe you'd have a 15% chance of winning or something, right? It just feels miserable to sit there getting crushed because you hope that maybe you'll get lucky and be able to win. I much prefer being in a position where, like, no, yeah, now that I recognize that I'm losing, I know that I will continue to lose, and I can just resign and move on to the next game. Right? The game doesn't end for quite a while, but you've clearly lost, so why not leave? And get back to a game where something interesting is happening. So that's the idea with Prismata. I think it works out reasonably well. Nothing's perfect, of course. You know, who knows how soon could an expert have looked at this game and said, you know what, Alan is losing here? I think at this point, it was fine. Around here, it still looks fine. I think. The Tesla coil might actually have been a pretty big turning point. I dismissed it as, like, not efficient enough, but it really put me under a lot of pressure to defend, right? I had to build 2 walls, and, like, I couldn't counter Tesla. I mean, I could, I guess, if I had like built some force fields. That would buy me enough time for a counter Tesla, but I guess he got enough ahead that he could build a Tesla coil and afford to keep powering it and make it hard for me to do something as efficient as that. And that sort of gradually ground me down. Plus, of course, his better decision making with getting these perforators and steel splitters and not running out his walls and all that stuff. You know, it's been a while since I played any long, high econ games, and I often forget the walls. Running out of walls is an issue. But I don't think it was the key issue, as we've talked about, right? It's just like I'm behind. And because I was behind, I needed more walls and couldn't build as many perforators. And I was trying to push harder with more attackers, but that was just too optimistic. I couldn't do it with his Tesla coil grinding me down. So anyway, yeah, as predicted, that one game took as long as 2 games often do. So we're just going to have that one game in this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.